So a good win at the weekend, and also you showed a lot of fight from getting them scoring the equaliser to then go on and win the game as well.
Yeah, I said at the time, I think that little change helped us. Just after they got the equaliser, we were contemplating it anyway, and then they go and get the equaliser, and then then you definitely do it as quick as you can. I think we just caught them a little bit cold with that change. I thought, as I said before, I thought they were a good team, and they are a good team. I've watched lots of their games because we've been playing some of the opposition that they've already played, and I said at the time I thought it would be a difficult game. And then what happens normally when you play a team that's bottom of the table, people think, you're just saying that. Well, there was the proof in the pudding at the weekend. I think they're a good team, and I think we also had them at the worst possible time because they'd had a terrible run of results. Then they go and beat Exeter away. Then they go and beat Sheffield Wednesday. So then we catch them when they're all of a sudden coming into that crest of a wave, if you know what I mean. But thankfully we managed to see it off in the end and win the game, and we're pleased with that.
And we're 10 games into the league and nearly hitting that quarter-way mark. So just how would you evaluate the first 10 games that have been?
Not bad. Yeah, not bad really. Not bad. That's what I would say. I don't see that there's anything to get carried away about. I won't be one of those anyway. So yeah, we've done okay, I think, so far. Yeah, I think that's a credit to the players really, because they're I know I've said this last year and I'm saying it again this year, but it's like they're a new group. There's 40-50% of the team that are new again. So for them to all gel is a credit to the new boys coming in, finding their feet, and the new boys, I always say, for accepting them. So as a group now, I think that they've done really, really well together. They get on great, which is really, really important. I mean, wherever they are, they're all together. They're not separated. We haven't got a pocket here. We haven't got a pocket there. They're all together. They intermingle brilliantly. There's no, well, I sit with him at dinner, which means I don't sit with you. There's nothing like that. They're a really good group. Really good.
And you've mentioned before about your work here being a long-term plan. Are we finally seeing that? Are you seeing that come together as you want it to be?
Long-term plan. But it's hard to say, I suppose, really, with being a long-term plan. It's a good question, that. I think every football job's a long-term plan, but not everybody gets the opportunity of it being a long-term plan. So you always have to have a short-term plan. We've always had a short-term plan with an idea of being here long enough to get an end of plan, if you know what I mean. Otherwise you don't get a long one. With every long-term plan there has to be a short-term plan. Otherwise, like I said, you never get there. So there have been some things along the way in the last couple of years that I would have done that I didn't perhaps want to do, but I had to do. And I think probably along the way, even this season, there's been some things I felt as though I've had to do but haven't necessarily wanted to do. So I just think the club is evolving nicely, is probably how I would put it. I just think it's evolving nicely.
And also encouraging signs with the likes of O'Brien, Elliot Bennett just coming back, and you're without Julian Da Costa and those players that you're without, and you're still doing well without them. So when they come back, it's going to be an even stronger group. Yeah.
I think what happens is you get a few setbacks along the way, though, don't you? You get a few bumps in the road. We've already had a big bump in the road with Dan Udo. So, yeah, I think we have done okay. But if you can imagine having Dan back fit now with what we're going into, we would be even stronger. But you get these setbacks along the way, and you just have to, it's how you deal with them, really. Because they're going to happen in football. We've got to try and deal as best we can with the setbacks. But like you say, with Elliot getting back on the pitch last week, that was important. Playing in the game, the Papa John's game before, was important for Elliot, to get those minutes in. Aidan O'Brien, excuse me, is getting closer. we've just got to make sure that, and Julian Da Costa is getting closer. What we've got to do is just make sure that these guys don't break down. That is really, really important for us, that we don't have any longer term injuries.
And obviously you mentioned Elliot Bennett getting his first league minutes since April. How's he feeling since that?
Okay. Yeah, no, he was okay. He'd done a lot of work, Elliot, to be fair, to get himself back, and he'd been out quite a while, so there was plenty of work that were put in, not only by him but by the physios. I think that they've worked really, really hard on Elliot to get back, and Elliot's worked his way back in. So yeah, I mean, we're really, really pleased with him and for him.
And we spoke about Christian Sadie last week. Now it's 2-2 starts, so just really positive signs from him.
Yeah, he's another one. Getting up to speed, Christian. Really, that's where we need to get him, and get him performing at in the last 20 minutes of games like he does in the first 20 minutes of games. But he's another one that if we sort of play him too long, that might backfire on us, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I think he's done great since he's been in. Young boy, has fitted in with the group, same as all the loan signings have, really. They've all fitted in, and certainly the recent ones as well. Obviously Taylor come earlier in the season, but obviously Carl Winchester as well, Rob Street, Christian Sadie. I think they've all come in and done very well.
And how important can he be with Dan Udo being out and him being that kind of focal point?
Well, they can all be that. It's not just Christian, it's all of them, Excuse me, we mentioned Aidan O'Brien coming back, that's going to be hopefully an important one for us. But obviously, because Dan's missing, as I've said before, we need more from our strikers, because we will miss Dan Udo no matter what. We'll miss his goals that he scored for us last year, and we miss his work rate. We miss his work rate because he's an extremely fit boy. So I think we're not having Dan Udo. I think there's definitely more of a workload that the other boys will have to do to supplement Dan not being available to us.
Marco Morosi obviously played really well on Saturday, and made some vital saves. So we all know how important he is, but that's just a real testament to his ability.
He done brilliant. To have the cut and the dislocation to stay on, incredible, really, incredible. So yeah, I mean, I think rightly so. It was probably him or Jay Dunkley that were vying for man of the match last week, but yeah, he made some great saves, and it was a great save even from the one where he actually did it. So yeah.
And how has his finger been since then?
Sore. Yeah, very sore.
And looking to Saturday, obviously going back to your hometown, just a special place for you.
Yeah, it's always a special place, isn't it? Where you've been born and you spent most of your life and your school days and all of that. But yeah, the people at Cheltenham will know that I want to go back and win, because they know what I was like when I was there. So I'm sure they can take that off of me as much as they can off of anybody else. But yeah, I'll be looking forward to going back and seeing a few faces that you don't get to see on a regular basis, obviously. But yeah, I mean, obviously the club is very dear to my heart. There's some really, really good people there that still work there that I was probably part and parcel of us employing at the time. And yeah, there's some great people there.
And they gave you a fantastic reception, obviously, last season.
Yeah, they did. And I'm sure they will again, probably.
Perfect, thank you.